In this video, we're going to analyze the soft components of the wine, soft taste components of the wine. How do we taste the wine? To start with, it's going to be very simple. After you made your analysis for the olfactory world of the wine, you just sip the wine in this manner, and you try to think about the alcohol level, you try to think about the sugars, you try to think about the smoothness. Of course, you turn it around your palate to allow your mouth to understand the wine from each angle, because our tongue perceives all of these acidity, salinity, sugars from different angles, from different parts. For example, the front part understands much better the sweetness. So it's important for you to turn around the wine in your palate to give your body, to give your tongue the chance to perceive all of these tactile features, all of these taste molecules, all of these flavor components. First of all, we have to get started with the sugars. It is the easiest thing. As I told you, most of the time, we deal with wines that are dry. Sometimes there is some sugar level in the wine. It's not that present, it's not that sweet. You can hardly really understand that there is some sugar in it. That level is called off-dry. It's not dry, but it's off-dry. You perceive the sugar, but it's not that penetrating. You say it's off-dry. Then if you perceive it a bit more, you could say it's medium dry. Then you could say it's medium sweet. And if you're with a wine that's very sweet, you could say it's sweet, it's luscious. These are the things you can use. I do not think that you're going to have particular problems analyzing the sugar of the wine. It's something that's very easy to recognize. Most of the time we're with dry wines, it can be off-dry if there's some sugar. And then from that level and up, you can think about medium sweet and mildly sweet. You can also use some adverbs. You can mix adverbs with some adjectives. The idea here is to make me understand the sugar level in a very pleasant way. Then we have to make a judgment about the alcohol level of the wine. And again, this happens maybe without seeing the alcohol level on the label, so you have to feel it. So the question here is, how can we feel the alcohol level of the wine? Well, you can definitely make a comparison with the other harsh liquors you've consumed up to this point in your life. Try to compare a normal wine with those gins, vodka, rum, whatever you've drunk. Try to take that as your origin. What is the sensation that you have when you have something that has high alcohol? You feel the hotness on your throat. That's the first indicator. When you drink something that's high in alcohol level, you know, it's really hot here. It's very warm in your throat, and that's the first indicator. So what does it mean? When the alcohol level of a wine is high, we're with a wine that's smoother. This is a thing. All of these things that we're going to talk about in this section directly contribute to the softness of the wine. So when the alcohol level is high, it creates this warm, soft, smooth effect. How can you give a graduation to the alcohol level? You can say it's low alcohol. You can say it's medium alcohol, you can say it's high alcohol, but remember not to be conditioned by whatever you read on the label. Most of the time, when you're served a wine, you're not going to be in direct contact with the bottle. Maybe the bottle is far away. You mostly have to talk about whatever you perceive. This is important. This is a very important point that I make, because sometimes the alcohol level may be high, but maybe it's covered by other dynamics, maybe it's covered by other components that make you feel it less. And we're going to give details about this. It's a very entertaining theme. So you just tell me whatever you perceive, whatever you feel. If it's high on the label, but you feel that it's medium, you have to say that it's medium alcohol. The wine has medium alcohol level. That's what you need to say. Tell us what you feel. And then comes something a bit hard to understand initially, but it's going to get very natural for you. I don't have doubts about that. It's about the polyalcohol. In English, it should be polyols, but in simple terms, it's the real smoothness. If you think that this group is about the softness of the wine, the softness is composed of the sugars, the alcohol, and the smoothness, the smooth components. How can we understand the smoothness of a wine? It's not the sugar. I'm not talking about the dryness, the sugar of the wine. I think about the smoothness. The easiest way to understand this, it's a classical example, is butter. Once you put some butter in your mouth and chew it, you know, it really caresses your entire palate. It turns around in your mouth and creates this dense, warm, smooth atmosphere in your mouth. That's the smoothness. It has this weight. It has this warmness. It has the silky texture. You know, that's a really good keyword. It has the silky texture. You may also think of egg yolks. You know, if you boil the egg, the part inside the egg yolk that's a bit dry, that's boiled, when you also chew it, It's the same effect. It's very dense. It carries your mouth. It embraces you. It presents itself in a very amiable way, in a very smooth way. It also creates the silky texture. You could also think of chocolate, but here I do not think about the aroma. I think about the tactile texture of the chocolate. When you get a bitter chocolate in your mouth, what is the sensation? It's warm. Its weight is present all over your palate. You turn around, and it stays with you. It creates a weight, it creates a density, it creates an amiable structure. That's the smoothness. I guess I explained it in a really nice way. Just after this video, after this lesson, take some butter in your mouth and try to feel the smoothness. And again, now you're used to the system. You can use your adjectives. You can say that it's really smooth. The wine is very smooth. It's pleasantly smooth. It's rather smooth, it's adequately smooth, it's satisfactorily smooth, it's medium smooth. The wine is not that smooth, the wine is little smooth, the smoothness of this wine is not that pronounced, the soft components of this wine are not that accentuated. You can use your creativity to talk about the wine you have in your hand. All of these subgroups that I talked about, namely the sugar, the alcohol, and the smoothness, all together, they make up the soft world of the wine. The presence of all of these factors, the high levels of all of these factors, they increase the smoothness, the softness of the wine.